You are listening to the Baller Mom feature series. I'm your host, Gifty. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I am going to be talking about the five types of sports parents that we have among ourselves. And the reason for this is not to bash anybody, not to put anybody down, but for us to understand that when you know there are different types of personalities are on your team, it helps you, or at least myself, cultivate the necessary conversations or the needed relationships to ensure that the team that you are on, that your child is on, that you're interested on, is fits for you, and know that everybody's coming in with different experience, different expectation, and it doesn't always mean it's bad. Most often it's good. But when you understand these 5 types of parents are also coming on the team, I think that helps understand and helps cultivate and build a team that is on one common ground, one common goal in some ways, whatever the case may be. So stay tuned, and I will share these 5 types along with some little bit of my own intuition and tips on that, on how to help us all. So the 5 types of parents. To start off, any parent who has kids in sports, most often, regardless of who you talk to, are on the same page that we're happy that at least our kids are doing something. That they're doing something other than, I don't know, staying home, playing video games, or being outside in the mall and the friends, just hanging around, feeling lazy. Like there's just some sort of an accomplishment that doing this, it's a good thing, and that's that is amazing, and I second that for that very same reason, that at least you're doing something. Now, as adults and as parents, we all have our own ways of how we parent. We all have our own ways of what we consider is good for our kids individually within our family. And based on those things, when we are now part of a larger community where it's not just only our kids learning the same skills, doing the same movements, participating, and all of that, sometimes our own individual dynamics, upbringing comes into play and often makes it a little bit harder to sort of adjust and jive. Not about the kids, because maybe another time I'll talk about the different type of players that they are, but speaking from a parent's perspective, these are the type of parents that I have come to notice that on different teams, when you're on, helps. When you understand it, it helps better understand. I keep saying understand, but understand doesn't mean it's acceptable or anything like that. But just knowing that, okay, this for this kid, this is the type of parents. Okay, most often could be an assumption as well too, but it helps you know where you stand yourself, so that you can also continue that conversation with another parent if that becomes your goal. Okay, so just know that this is all based on various my own observation. There's no specific facts, or this particular talk, I don't have any reference to any articles or books or talk shows or any individual speaker that I can reference to. This is 100% based on my own personal observation over the past 7 years or so that my kids have been in a competitive sport environment, ranging from both soccer, basketball, swimming, taekwondo, keyboard, all kinds. So I just thought it's easier that I share this, my observation, and hopefully it resonates with some of you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. And if maybe it will brighten up some of you guys and be like, oh my god, she's talking so trash, whatever it is. But just know that this is my personal observation that I am sharing as a way to continue to foster the communication that is here to support and cheer all of us on this journey. Okay, now with that being said, first one that I have, and I think a lot of us see it, a lot of people always mention it, is, oh my god, this person is like living through their kids life, their kids hopes, their kids' dreams. And I call that the second career parents. I didn't get that chance, or I see my kids getting this chance, so I am going to actively support them. I'm actively involved with it. I want to know who the coach is, what's the regimen, what's the plan, where's the date. All like they are in it, deeply vested, as rightfully so. But this is at the extreme level where it's like, oh my goodness, do you want to be the coach? Do you want to be the trainer? Do you want to play for this kid? Do you want to go on the court? Can you cool it down a little bit? Chime it out, like it's so passionate. So when you see those type of parents, or you come across a parent like that, it's not bad. It's not like keep your distance or anything. Just understand that they have that deep passion, and yes, your passion on the level is definitely sometimes a lot higher than some of us. So if you see that, just understand that this, I call it, whether vicariously living through their child's dreams and hopes, regardless of the child's skills level, because this conversation is not about any kid's level, whether they're elite, beginner, whatever. It's based on us parents and our emotions and our types of how we're parenting our kids through the sports world. So if you see a parent who has the high, deeply vested in it, like they're on the court, they're on the field, they're consistent, they're recording, watching the video, rewinding, editing, conversations is always surrounding about numbers and metrics and stats and giving you these things. These parents, I call it like second career parents. Like, they are definitely, they know their thing, but they are also very forcefully ensuring that their kid is high achiever and getting it done the way it needs to be. Best way to approach it is individually, on your own, how you feel, depending on the game, depending on the team, depending on the personality, or even how the child's skill is. If you find somebody, a parent that is on your team that is like that, if they're open and talk, most often a lot of them love to talk. Listen, just sometimes that's all we need. We just need that person. They just want to hear. They just want us to hear their story about, their child this and their child and child that. And also remember, some of them may not even mention your kid. They might mention it once in a while, and that's okay. But when you understand that, you can assess and say, okay, do I really always want to be around this person because I was about their kid, and their kid in grade 7 or grade 3 was number 1 and they did this and that and whatever. Like, they're always going to relive those special moments. That's your passion. That's what they do. So understand that there are those parents out there within the sports world, and if you come across them, I always enjoy conversations with them, because sometimes I see the light in their eyes and the tone in their voices when they're talking that passionately about their kids. So I call that second career passionate parents. Like, I had my chance, or I could have had my chance, but that's my kid's chance, and they're this, and I'm definitely gonna keep pushing for them to be the number 1. That's okay. We'll leave it at that, okay? So that's parent type number 1. Parent type number 2, that's a whole different one. I call them the ROI, which is the return on investment parents, okay? Meaning that we understand it's a business. We know that clubs have to make money. They have to be able to function. Even if it's a nonprofit, they still need something to be able to function. Even if it's for profit, they have to be able to function. Coaches need the funding, managers, facility rentals, uniforms, tournament booking, travel, all of that. Money is involved, all of it. So to be part of that team, you get welcome into it, and you're told how much the fee is. And the return on investment for a person, parent, would be like, okay, I am going to calculate this. You are charging me $4,000 for 7 months of games. This is the amount of game that we're going to play. These are the facilities we're going to be playing at. These are the amount of times we're going to practice. This is the places we're practicing. Like, they will do the mathematics to assess it, and that is fine, because they want to make sure that their dollars that they are putting into this yield that result for them. And what that result is, their child getting better when they started, getting enough play time, develop, if that's a thing of this club, and the proper exposure for their child. So ultimately, these type of investment that we're doing comes from finance, but we also want to get the result back that shows that I paid the 4,000. I want to make sure my 4,000 return on investment makes sense, so that at the end of the 7 months, 8 months, whatever month it is, I can say, yeah, you know what, my son, my daughter, yeah, we were on this team, we did that, it was 4,000, but you know what, it was worth every minute, because they had this, they had a nutritionist, they had a strength conditioner, they had team bonding, they had 2-3 times practice a day, we play 4 games a season or whatever it is, we travel, it's all included. I consider that money well spent. That's a return on investment type of person. And again, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's just about money. But at the end of the day, when you put money into the bank, even if it's 2% increase of interest at the end of every month, it's something. $1 extra is something that you feel like it was worth the investment. So when you come across parents like that, they're talking about the calculations and the numbers and everything, I say again, just listen. No judgment. I'm very much not into the judgment side of it, because like I said, everybody's coming from a different personal experiences and family dynamics. So I will listen and say, okay, I agree, and it makes sense. And often when you have somebody on your team, a parent on your team that is like that, value that too, because that person also will do that, all that checks and balances on the financial side for you. So every time there's a request for additional money, you bet that this particular return on investment parent will be doing a calculation to see, is it really worth it? Why are we paying additional $2 for this? Why are we paying $20 to entrance fee? Why can we include this? Like, they're coming with the numbers. They might be the finance accountant type of person, I don't know. But when they are invested in it and making sure that if I'm paying this amount of money for my child, I want to make sure I get that investment back in whatever it is the agreement is. Bet on that this person, this parent, is highly vested and making sure that your child, will succeed based on their time, money, and effort, everything that they are investing in it. They want a return on that investment. Okay, so that's parent type number 2. Okay, next one is, I call it the circle of life, the friends you keep, the keeping up with what everybody else is doing type of parents. I'm in the sports because in our community or on our street or in our school, so and so is doing hockey, one is doing baseball, one is doing basketball, one is doing football. So yeah, I'm going to join and do soccer or something like that. My kid is doing their AAA, their level 1, division 2, division 3. Okay, we're going to do that too. So some parents are in it so that they can have that conversation within their small community outside of the sports most often. Okay, so it's not even about coming in and being part of the team. It's also what's happening outside within your own little circle. Say, yep, you know what, so and so, we are playing here, we traveled this far, we did this, we go in here, we went this, they met this so and so person, player, they got the number 1 points, or they're the player of the game, or whatever it is, like the accolades, a bragging rights for themselves to keep up within their little circle of communities, wherever it is that they may be. Do not take that personal when you see or you come across a parents like that. I say I listen, because it's something that gives them value and they feel part of a community, and another way of having some conversation outside of their own little circle, I guess. I don't know. So when they're in it and they're talking about, on my street or in our community, in our church, in our culture, or whatever it is, so there's all these sports, all these kids, and this and that, and now my child's this and that, and it was so good to tell them and see it. It's another thing for us as parents when we speak so proudly of our kids and we can share their accomplishments to others, and I think it's a great thing. So when you come across with the keep up with the Joneses type of parents, I think it's recommendable, but also tread lightly, and let's not judge them. This new shoes came in. Oh yeah, this shoes came. I have to get that for him, for her, whatever. Oh, the newest gear from such and such brand. Everybody's wearing it, so yeah, they got the newest one too. you know, whatever it is that is going on, this is the top trainer that everybody's going to. Yep, my child goes to this trainer too. This is the best facility. Yep, that's where we train. These are the food that we eat to refuel. Oh yeah, my child refuels too and do this. And it's just comparison game, always trying to be on top of what everybody else is doing, because they want to make sure that if their child is not doing it, like they're missing something or they're missing out, because then they can't be part of that conversation. So I call it like keeping up with it. You know, what's the word I call it? Circle of life. Like, this is my circle, this is what we do, and that's what everybody does. We're in this cycle, so I'm going to be part of it, and I'm going to do the same thing. This is on sale, I'm going to go do it. Under Armour is the newest brand everybody's wearing. Okay, New Balance is the newest brand. Okay, I'm doing it. Nike, this, that, you know, I'm doing that. And whatever the financial situation is, I don't judge. But there are some parents that will continue to do that. Why? Because sometimes the kids are freaking annoying, and they will come like, "Oh, mommy, daddy, I want this. Everybody has it." And if there are that type of parents, they will always cater to their kid to make sure that they're up with it, because they want to make sure their kid is always part of the trend that is going on, right? So you come across with parents like that, again, don't judge. Say hi, continue the conversation, and just know that you are on a team, which is not an isolated type of club. It's a team sports that you're on, and everybody again is coming in for a different reason. A different type of parenting style does not always mean it's bad if it doesn't align with the way that you do yours. Okay. A fourth one is the social butterflies, which is, you know, something that I think I will probably call myself that as well too. You're there for the social, you're there for the bonding, you're there for the communications to other parents, because, you know, sometimes you may be the only one in your circle of friends whose kid is doing that particular sports. You know, maybe everybody else in your family grew up playing, I don't know, rugby, and all of a sudden your kid wants to do basketball or soccer, and they're good at it, and you're playing at a competitive level. So you coming in and talking to other parents and learning about the sports, it's your way of saying, "Oh, I had a long day during practice, let's talk about this. Oh my God, this thing's on sale. Did you watch this TikTok? Did you watch this Instagram?" It's a social thing for parents too. As much as we want the kids to bond, we as parents also need an outlet for ourselves. So having that commonality and talking to another parent who understands the structure of the scheduling, where you may miss out on your own personal family things, whether it be religious or cultural things, because you have a game, talk to another parent who's in that same situation, helps. And it makes you get that bond, you get that social connections. And I will say I've made a really good lifelong friends being social and talking to parents and having that connection. And they get you, you know, they get you when somebody messages you like, "Hey, this weekend is going on. What do? We check our calendar. Okay, it's a free weekend. There's no tournament, so I will go." If there's a tournament and it's another sports parent that's asking you, tell them, no questions asked. They truly understand, because they get that you have that social connection with them, and they get it, and they're like, "Yep, no problem, it's okay. Another time we will schedule when you're free," which is like 2034 or something, right? Randomly. So when you have a parent on the club, on your team that is very sociable, open, and sharing, most often a lot of us, I would put myself in that category, come with good intentions. You know, we just want to connect, and sometimes it's therapy. You know, it's another form of therapy, just talking to other parents in that sector that understands the ups and downs of all this process and this journey on it, and it's good. So be aware that there are some of us out there like that, and we always come with good intentions. So you kind of know where I fall in on these lists. And the last one, I call it the ghost parents. And it doesn't mean it's bad. I'm calling ghost because you have kids on your team where you would not know who their parents are. You may never see them. They would drop them off and they're gone. Practice, stay in their car. After practice, kids goes in the car, boom, done. Game, if they come, they're sitting somewhere else. They're not as loud as some of us are. They just watch. Sometimes they don't even record. They're just there. The whole basis for it is, this is for my kid and not for me. You know, this is something my kid's doing. I will do whatever I have to do for my kid, but it's not even my sport. I don't like hockey, so I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna sit there. I don't like baseball. I'm just gonna sit there. I don't even know how basketball works, but my kid likes it, and apparently he's really good, and this is the team he made it on. I'm just gonna drop them. I'm just gonna be in my car, pick up, go do Uber, whatever it is. Or they may actually just naturally be busy with strict schedule with other kids, other responsibilities, that they can always be there. So those ghosted parents, I always say, when you know this is a child that is like that, always just double check that they're fully protected, especially after practice when it's dark. You're good. Somebody's picking you up. Okay, great. You get home safe. Okay, game is there. You got there. In between games, are you okay? We're gonna go to the mall. You need a ride. You want to check with your parent to see if you can come with us. You want to check. We're gonna bring you something. Like you become that sort of support for them if that child is okay with it, or if that parent's okay with it. One thing I always do is say, okay, get my phone, call your mom, call your dad, whoever it is, let them know you are with me, and this is where you're at. If they need anything, whatever, we're back to the game, and that's fine. Most often, some of the parents that I've come to know, as I call it, ghosted, they're often, response back and say, thank you very much, I'm good. Nope, they can stay. They brought their food, they can stay there, whatever the case may be. They'll send them on their own for like even overnight trips and things like that. Different parent style doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's different. Okay, so when you understand these type of parents, these type of styles in a team, in a club, or where you know which one you fall into, I think that makes it a lot easier for the teams to move further, and that way we don't put too much emphasis on just the kids making friends and or enemies or being number one on the team. It's just also we have to check ourselves. Okay, so hopefully these 5 lists that have lists, I'm sure there's much more, but I thought 5 is short and simple, straight to the point, starting off with the second career, highly dedicated parents who is highly vested in it. The return on investment parents, number 2. Then we have the circle of life parents, which is I am just gonna keep doing what everybody else doing with it, because we have to keep it up, and we got to be in the know to make sure that my child is never left behind, and we are part of it. And then there's the social butterflies, and then there's the ghosted. I will recap these in my episode notes and all the places that I post. But I just want to find out which one of these resonate with you. Which one of these parents are you? Not that but is you. And how do you cultivate? Maybe you're a combination of all 5, depending on the situation, or maybe you're highly just one, or you just can understand what the purpose of some of them are, whatever the case may be. Again, this is from a parent's perspective, nothing to do with player skills, players levels, or anything like that, but understanding that we have these 5 type of parents that I've come across, that I've noticed, and I think these are part of it that also helps the team continue and the journey of being in the sports community, make it so more exciting in each and every season that we go through. Mind you, some of them may not even be on your team, maybe on the opposing team when you're playing, and you will notice that. And next time, just keep an eye out and see, oh my God. And I'm not saying let's go and label people. I'm not labeling. I'm just describing the type that I've seen and come across over the 7 years or so. And doesn't necessarily mean any one of them is bad. It just means it's different. Okay? This episode was sponsored by myself. No, actually sponsored by the shop, the Baller Mom shop page, which I have a series of different hoodies and t-shirts there that you can buy and wear it while you're at a game to support your child, such as the one that I'm wearing if you're watching it on video, and it's called Raising Student Athlete, which is what ultimately we all are. That matches the topic that I was talking about today. So if it's your first time making a purchase, you will get 10% off on your first purchase. Just use the code BMSTORE, and it's directly at ballermom.ca/shop or shop.ballermom.ca. So go there, check out all the different merchandise I have there, and I do customization too. So if there's specific things that you want to put on your shirt, whether it be on the front or the back, just message me, email me, contact me, and we'll get the ball rolling. So I hope that this episode here was a really good conversation for anybody that's interested in, chatting more about it. Message me, DM me, wherever you see or hear or watch it. And again, let me know which one that resonates with you. And that was another episode of the Ballermom feature series, talking about the 5 types of sports parents that we've come across over our years on this journey. And when you do see one, just acknowledge and just know that we all come from different threads, but we together build this together in a team, and we have a common goal in succeeding wherever it may be. And every family and every parent is dynamic, so hopefully this supports you on your journey. And let's continue to share, cheer, and unite.